Hello dear listeners, in my last video I have spoken about sulfur. In today's talk I will try to give you differential diagnosis between sulfur and sulfur looking remedies, mean those remedies which look like sulfur. Keep in mind, I have given in my last video my perspective or my understanding of sulfur, how I understood sulfur in my practice. But there are other homeopaths, they understood sulfur in a different way, but the core area is the same. In today's talk, as I said, I will talk about those similar looking remedies. First remedy I want to talk about is Calc-sul. Calc-sul has this sulfur element in it. So sulfur has issue related to identity, recognition and relationship with the outer world, as I explained in my last video. While in Calc-sul, because of the calcarea element, the issue is more related to family or home or security related, especially parents who they constantly try to gain their appreciation. In Calc-sul, there is a constant feeling of not being appreciated or valued, or feeling of being put down or stressed at home.
ये चीज़ हम बच्चों में बहुत कॉमनली देखते हैं कि बाज़ बच्चे ये शिकायत करते हैं कि उनको वो अटेंशन या अप्रिसिएशन नहीं मिल रही जो उनसे बड़ों को या उनसे छोटों को मिलती है. सो दे हैव दिस कॉन्स्टेंट दिस स्ट्रगल, और इसी वजह से वो ड्रेसअप बेहतर होने की कोशिश करते हैं ताकि वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अटेंशन या ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अप्रिसिएशन हासिल कर सकें. Although in this condition, patient feel this extreme anger inside, which usually come up in sulphuric patients, but in Calc-sul, usually you don't see this anger, a lot of anger in the patient because of the calcarea element. Calcarea element are dependent on the people for security. The patient of Calc-sul, the most they can do is to complain about that they are not appreciated or the quarrels. That's why in repertory you find this lamenting that he is not appreciated or quarrelsome. While Calc-sul person try to do everything in a manner that makes other appreciate them or value them in their work or in his appearance. That's why in some Calcarea children you find that they dress up charmingly, वो प्यारे लगना चाहते हैं, they show off ताकि वो appreciate कर सकें, लोग उनको देख सकें. This is very common symptom you see in sulphur and Calc-sul patients. So Calc-sul does not break away from the group or from the family because they are not appreciated, which is totally opposite to the sulphur. Because in sulphur, I have explained in my last video that sulphur has this just breakaway indifference to the environment where they are not appreciated. While in Calc-sul, because of the calcarea element, they are dependent, so they are afraid to going away. So they have this timidity and different kind of fears which develop later on in Calc-sul. In simple words, Calc-sul feeling can be best described by the feeling of an unwanted child or an unwanted girl born in the family or male dominating family where she feels unappreciated or unsecure in her own home, which is fourth row issue. जैसा कि हम बाज़ फैमिलीज़ को देखते हैं कि वो बेटी के पैदा होने को अच्छा नहीं समझते और जिसकी वजह से बच्ची सारी उम्र इसी जो फियर में बढ़ती है कि उसको अप्रिशिएट नहीं किया जाता, वो इनसिक्योर महसूस करती है. That could be a potential remedy for those issues.
Next remedy which look like sulfur is a Natrum-Sulp. In Natrum-Sulp, you will see they are more afraid of losing their relationships. So you can see this Natrum kind of total dependency on relationships in those people, especially on the partner or the family. You can also see the sadness of Natrum in those patients.
Another difference what you can find between sulfur and Natrum-Sulp patients is in their digestive issues. Sulfur and Natrum-Sulp both have this morning diarrhea or stool. But in Natrum-Sulp, morning diarrhea or stool has this more flatulence than sulfur. They have this especially noisy flatus you can see in Natrum-Sulp.
Then there is another remedy, Kali-Sulp, which also contain sulfur part mixed with kalium, potassium. Kali-Sulp, they are very duty bounded. So they devoted themselves in the duty or their tasks to get the appreciation or approval. Keep in mind the Kali group of people, they are very work-oriented people. So Kali-Sulp people are more related to responsibilities. They perform their responsibilities, they perform their tasks to get more attention from the group, from the people around them. I have already spoken a little bit more detail about Kali group of remedies in one of my other videos where I have discussed a case of epilepsy. Those people who are interested, please check out that video on my YouTube channel. Then there is another remedy, Ferrum-Sulp. You will see this ferrum kind of iron-headed or firmness in those personalities. But many of the sulfur characteristics appears in those people, especially in modalities. If let's say they have this worse from the warmth or warmth room. इसी तरह they have this better from cold air or icy or fresh air. If you see this iron-headedness in some people or firmness, and with the modalities of sulfur, you can prescribe the Ferrum-Sulp for those people. Then there is another remedy which is a no-sod, which also called as a chili sulfur. Its name is Psorinum. Why people call this chili sulfur? Because generally its symptoms are worse in winter and better in summer. So those eczemas or skin problems which get worse in winter and get better in summer, you must think of Psorinum instead of sulfur. इसी तरह Psorinum patients are usually sensitive to cold air or a changing of the weather. That's why when they come to practice, they usually properly cover themselves, like they wear a fur cap or overcoat or shawl, even in the hottest summer. You can also differentiate Psorinum and sulfur from their mental approach. Psorinum people are more involved in money matters, poverty, security related issues. But sulfur patients are more involved in relationships, egos, their personalities. So this is the main things you can see. In Psorinum, you can find this total loss of paradise. They have this total despair from recovery, that their health will never be recovered, their money situation will never be better. So they've come with very down feeling, this lost paradise kind of feeling, that they have lost everything. While you will not see this kind of lost or exhausted kind of sulfur in their money matters. Sulfur, as I said, they are more involved in relationships, their egos, their personalities. But Psorinum has total different approach to the life. Then there is another remedy, sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is a exhausted sulfur. If you find any person who has exhausted themselves in their relationships, in their appreciation, desire for appreciation, or not getting appreciation, and then they get exhausted because of that, then you must think of sulfuric acid. One thing is very prominent in sulfuric acid is their hurriedness. Sulfuric acid is one of the top remedies for those people who are really hurried in their life approach, in their every aspect of life. If you see the sulfur mentality with exhaustion, then you must think of sulfuric acid instead of just sulfur. I will explain sulfuric acid separately in another video. Jeeta listeners, this was today's talk. I tried to explain the differential diagnosis between sulfur and some sulfur-looking remedies. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please do let me know. See you next time with another video. Bye.